Welcome to the podcast, Young in Love.
Hello guys, I welcome you to another episode of Young in Love, and if you can hear this, it means you made it to the month of April. So happy new month guys. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about besties, and the title of this episode is No Besties Please. For the ladies, would you let your boyfriend have a best friend who's a girl? And for the gentlemen, would you let your girlfriend have a best friend who's a boy or a man? On today's episode, I invited a very gentleman, and he's Mazi Enoch. Mazi Enoch, please say hi.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Mazi Enoch.
Okay, for those who don't know, Mazi is like Mr. in Igbo language, yeah. So Mazi Enoch basically means Mr. Enoch. Now we're going to go into the discussion for today. Please tell me, do you think it's okay to let your girlfriend have a best friend, a bestie, who's a guy just like you? Handsome, with six packs and all that.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't let that happen. I don't know why my girlfriend would want to have some other guy who would be her bestie. I mean, what's my job? I'm there to do all of the bestie thing plus every other thing, so I don't see that happening.
First off, let me even ask, can a guy and a girl be best friends? I mean, with no strings attached?
Absolutely, they can.
Okay, so then what is your problem? If you say that a guy and a girl can be best friends with no strings attached, then why would you have a problem with your girlfriend having a guy who's her best friend?
Well, it's not as simple as you make it sound. I have female friends that I am quite close to. We're good. Okay.
You mean girls?
Of course, yeah.
Do those girls have boyfriends?
Well, as far as I can tell, they don't have serious boyfriends, more or less. But you see, there's how this thing works. If a relationship is serious, and one of them tells me that, I think I'm beginning to have misunderstanding.
Sorry, what do you mean by serious relationship?
You know, serious. I want to marry you kind of serious.
Okay. Right.
So, if it's going to bring some sort of misunderstanding between my female friend and her man, I think I want to step out. It makes a lot of sense to respect their relationship and let them do their thing. Plus, young man could be jealous, you know. We know the business. If you are in my age bracket, you know the business.
Do you want to share your age bracket with us?
I'm 31.
Okay.
And
wow.
And we know how these things work. I used to have a girl at some point. She left for the States. While she was here in the country, she had this bestie. Of course, this bestie is one small boy for the corner. And that's the one that breaks...
You're jealous!
No, wait. The one that breaks my heart is...
Okay.
You can't be playing around with some small boy. And then you're telling me that, babe, this boy is we're just friends. We're just... come on, I know this job. At the end of the day, you guys will be strafing low-key. And you'll be telling me you're doing best.
You have trust issues, or must they straff?
But
you just said that a girl and a guy can be friends with no strings attached.
That's why I said it depends. It depends on the individual. It depends on who the girl is. They are very trustworthy people. I mean, trustworthy.
So you didn't trust your girlfriend then?
Well, she had these traits. There were a few things she was portraying at the time I wasn't comfortable with, but you know, I had to be the grown-up that I still am.
Like, why didn't you just leave the relationship? If you saw those traits, why being in a relationship when you're not comfortable with certain things?
Come on, don't just walk out on relationships like that. It's not a buy and sell thing. It's a relationship, for God's sake. You try and make it work. If it's not working, you keep putting efforts until you see that it's not going to work, then you can just honorably take a bow, you know. So that's as much as I know.
Sorry, I'm curious. I want to know, this your ex. She's your ex now, right?
Of course.
Okay. So this your ex. Did you later confirm? Was it confirmed that she was smashing this her other best friend or friend?
Oh, well, as much as I can tell at the time, she was a V. You know, by V I mean she was a virgin. And
how did you know? Sorry.
Well, I did not put anything inside anywhere to be sure. I just we had an honest conversation, and to be honest, I'm not taking anything away from her because she's now my ex. She was, I want to believe she still is, but then my last memory says she was a good person. You know, she was honest.
There's a difference between a V, like a virgin, and a good person. So which one are you saying?
Oh, you're putting words into my mouth.
No, I'm just asking.
Okay, no. I didn't mean it that way.
Okay.
She was a V for real. She told me I had no
And
reason.
you believe that?
Of course,
You
I
trusted her?
had no reason to not believe her.
Okay, so hold on. You trusted her. She gave you word of mouth that she was a virgin, but you couldn't trust her enough with this other male friend.
She wasn't my age. She couldn't handle the things that were coming at her. She was quite young. I'm not going to tell you her age, so don't even push. She was quite young, and I know how these things work. If you've been around kids that are 21, 22, 23, let me not say 24, you will understand that there's this thing about them. They all want to have this bestie. If you don't have a bestie, it's like you don't know what's up. So they all just want to have this bestie. I have a bestie. I mean, I know how the business works. I used to be that age at some point.
So you used to play games too?
Of course, we used to have bestie. Now we know how the
It's
bestie.
you now. You're the cause of your trust issues.
I'm a man. There is no
What do you mean you're a man?
Listen, there is no male that would want to have you as a bestie just like that, and you are, you're within that 22, 23 cadre, and you're wanting to do bestie call. What are you bestie in?
So it's just like a lion chilling with a dog.
He will chop you, scatter. He will finish work. I know this business. Come on, I know what's up. You can't do that with me. I am not saying if I am with someone now and she tells me she has a bestie, I have any issues with it. Point is, babes, the terms and conditions go overwhelm you, and you can't even, I don't think you can keep up, because I will give you lots of T and C's, and it will be needless having a bestie, so let's not go there.
Okay, you said something though about your ex. You said that she was young at the time, so you couldn't really trust her judgment in issues like that. But up till the time you dated her, she was good, because you said she was a V, so she was able to keep herself, exercise good judgment up to that time. So how come it was at the point you started dating her, then you started thinking that you could not trust her judgment enough?
Okay, let me cast something. Let me expose myself a little bit. I'm very keen. I'm a very keen person. It might take me 6 months, 1 year to find out a particular detail, but trust me, I will eventually, except I am not interested. While we were in the relationship, of course, we talked about this bestie, and I told her, babes, I'm not comfortable with this bestie. I'd rather you call him your friend. Let us be knowing that it is your friend. But the moment you start attaching that bestie thing to it, there's this devil that works with the bestie. But then, when she traveled and our communication was still intact, she would tell me one thing today, she would tell me the other thing tomorrow, and then I would see a few pictures, I would see a few videos, and then I was beginning to connect the dots. I would ask her a few questions today. She would tell me what she says today is not what she says next week, it's not what she says next month, it's not what she says.
So she was lying to you.
She was, and she didn't know that I was just trying my best to get all the facts, and I did get all the facts.
Okay, sorry, so this guy that she was calling friend, was he in Nigeria or in the state?
He's still here. I mean, these whole things were happening while she was still here, so yes,
okay.
He's still here.
Okay. So do you want to tell us some of the risks involved with having a best friend besides your partner?
Trust. Lack of trust becomes an issue, and I mean, if I don't trust you, our relationship is already in a mess. Trust is an issue. I mean, it's the bottom line. Attached to it are so many things, so I think trust is just the underlying word here. If I don't trust you, of course, I'll be here and I'll be thinking that my girl is somewhere doing 1 or 2. She's probably doing 1 or 2, and her WhatsApp chat has this and that. And I don't even have time to be doing all of those. I don't do FBI on you. So if I start doing FBI on you, it's bad.
It's bad. Okay, so you've mentioned trust, and I think that trust is a very foundational issue, because when I say what are the risks involved, one, this person might start to develop feelings for that best friend, because you know what a best friend does when there's an issue in the relationship and they need a shoulder to lean on. They will naturally tilt toward their best friend. And with that kind of emotional connection, it won't be long before a physical connection takes place, and before you know, they're already dating.
Putting something inside something. The dating is not the issue. You're going far. You're making it.
Who is putting what's going on?
See, if I have issues with my girlfriend, she would run to this guy. You're the only one that understands me. wanted to speak with someone, I had to call you. And this, that. The boy will say, what happened? You now table our issue, our private issue.
And that's not good.
To some guy. What small boy self? That's the one that annoys me with this old bestie thing.
But you said you're jealous. So.
I'm not jealous. I'm just annoyed that you be doing. Come on.
Is small boy. What if it's a grown man?
It can be a grown man. I know how these girls think. I know what they want. They just want something.
Okay, Mazi and Knock. Yeah. Thank you so much for being on this episode. For me personally, I don't think I want to have a guy who has another bestie. And I'm not going to say who has another bestie who is a girl, because these days, like, I said in the previous episode, we have, people with different sexual orientation. So it's possible, and with a man who's bisexual, he goes both ways. So I'm not even going to say, don't have a bestie who's a girl. Don't have a bestie at all. I want to be your best friend. I will be your girlfriend. I will be your best friend. I'll be your partner in crime. I'll be your gist mate, your gossip partner, your every. Do you understand? So that when something is not right in the relationship, you're not going elsewhere. You would look for a way to fix it, because this is your best friend. If you're not talking to me, who else are you talking to? You understand? So in my opinion, no besties, please. I don't want best friends in our relationship. Again, I think, like I've said before, we have people with a different sexual orientation. So if you're currently dealing with that kind of a situation now, I think you should have a conversation with your partner about it. Tell them what your fears are. Me, if you like, tell me what your fears are. Or me, I tell you what my fears are. There's no amount of assurance you will give me. You're not going to have a best friend. If you cannot do without that best friend, then we cannot, because that is my position. Do you understand? I'm giving this advice, but I've told you I will not take the advice. If you're in the situation, have a conversation about it. Tell your partner that you don't feel comfortable with him or her having another best friend beside you. Another thing is, I don't think friendship should be forced, because there are some people who say, I don't want besties, I don't want all of that, but they're not even willing to cultivate friendship in the relationship. So if you're that kind of person like me, who thinks that I should be your best friend, I should be your every, it's very important to cultivate friendship, build trust. You want to judge less, you want to love more, and make your partners feel comfortable around you. Because when your partner feels comfortable around you, then friendship is cultivated and they are open to talking about a lot of things. Lastly, like I've said before, I want to say it again for emphasis sake, communicate. Talk about what your expectations are in the relationship. And then it's also important, as I have said before, know the sexual orientation of your partner, so that you're not looking in the wrong direction. So ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's episode of Young in Love. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, I want you to go and subscribe. This podcast is available on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, Radio Public, Overcast, and Pocket Cast. So feel free to choose your preferred listening platform. It's your girl Keziah, and you can find me on Instagram at Keziah_Vilawa. Go follow our social media pages on Instagram at YoungInLove_podcast, on Facebook, Young in Love with Keziah, and on Twitter at Young in Love Pod. Now till when next we meet, bye and be good.
Young in Love.